You know that feeling when an idea hits you like lightning? That moment when creativity strikes and suddenly everything becomes possible? Well, welcome to La Mesa Talks, where those moments aren't just happy accidents, it's what we live for. My name is Oscar Mota, and we've spent the last 7 years chasing those lightning bolts of inspiration across industries, continent, and creative disciplines with my team at La Mesa. Here, at La Mesa Talk, we are setting a place for everyone who believes in the power of creative thinking. This isn't just another business podcast or design talk show. This is where we get real about the messy, beautiful, chaotic process of bringing ideas to life. Welcome. In each episode, we'll sit down with groundbreakers, rule breakers, and change makers who are reshaping how we think about creativity in business and in life. We'll dig into successes, their failures, and most importantly, the moments that changed everything. Sit back and enjoy. So, welcome to a very special episode, which is we're gonna call it episode 0, episode 1. We don't know, but we had to start when everything started, and this is why I have with me the two beautiful ladies that just created La Mesa. Farida Natour and Rana Chehade. These are the founders as well, the co-founders, as the startup world calls it. And we're going to touch a very, very cool subject, which is multicultural creativity and remote work. But in order for us to reach that point, we need to start from the beginning, which is how was La Mesa created? By design, small team, by design, remote team. And we have a lot of cool stories and jokes to tell you about. So welcome. Thank you, Rana. Thank you, Farida.
Thank you.
This is very exciting for us because this is a project that we've been trying to get out for years. And because we're always busy doing client work and just sharing our creativity with other people, we've never been able to do it. Fortunately, we have a beautiful team that helps us and supports us into doing this. So this is super fun.
Shout out to our
Shout
team.
Shout out to the team and to Laura and to Omar and to all the beautiful people that worked with us. They are the ones that make La Mesa. Now, I want to start with something that's super fun because I've always told the story like 100 times, but I now want to hear your version of the story. We met. How long ago and where did we meet? Because again, I have a version of the story, right? It's a fun story, but I want to hear your version.
12 years ago.
Wow.
Actually, exactly 12 years ago.
Exactly 12 years.
November 2012. Well, more 12.
24 of November 2012. Me and you and I, basically, we met at that date.
Yeah, okay, let's set up the scenario. Milano, in Italy. You guys were.
We have a common friend. So basically, I was talking to this friend and I was like, going to Milano. I'm going to go study there. I'm doing my master in brand design. And he was like, I know someone I was just talking to a couple of days ago or something. And she's going there. Her name is Rana. Do you know her? I'm like, no, I don't. And he's like, you should get in touch with her. And then he gave me her Facebook account. I contacted her on Facebook. I told her I'm going. She's like, oh my God, I'm going too. It's the same class. And that was it.
Yeah, because we had so many people like in common telling us like, there's a girl named Dida going and the same thing. So
Creative
to do
geniuses.
my due diligence, I went to Facebook. Like, who's that Dida that everybody's telling me?
Creative geniuses from Beirut, they get together in Italy. But now fast forward to the fun stuff. It was next year.
Oh, we met him on the way. It's nothing serious.
So we met. Tell the story, Rana. We met. How we met?
So one day we had a group of friends from class, and we were like decided to go out in Milan. We went to an area called Navili, where it's like small bars, and they had like aperitivos and restaurants. So we were waiting outside, and I was talking to Dida, and there's a guy suddenly like turning, hearing us speaking in Arabic. It's like, oh, are you Lebanese? I'm like, yes.
Yes. Like the last person we want to meet.
So he's like, I'm here with my friends we're doing MBA in this university, so please join us. And we're like, sure, because we were waiting for a table and there were no places. And we go inside, and it happens that I'm sitting like this in front of Oscar, and his pickup line.
It was very lame. Don't say it. That was very
And
lame.
the first
I thought I
love,
ruined it.
what's the word for that? Love at first sight.
It was like really
Ignition.
It was like click.
the three of
like,
us.
yeah.
The three of us since the
The
beginning.
whole group together, like really, we became friends. Like it's fine. We found our community in Milano.
They
and
came
it's
back,
like-
then you came back, then I started traveling around the world for a year and a half. Then we came back to Dubai. We all joined in Dubai. And remember, I had a coffee business. La Mesa was sort of an attachment into this coffee business. Thankfully, it became just our forefront. But I do remember when it started, it was in our studio in a small house. And we said, guys, and I told you, guys,
We
we
need to do
have to
this."
do something. And you were at the beginning with like, I'm not
We
sure.
had stable jobs and we were
I'm not
like,
sure if we should
I'm
go
not
into
sure.
entrepreneurship. And I'm like, no, you have to do this. You have to do this. I'm curious, Dida, what pushed you then after to because we've discussed this, but not this with this depth. What took you? What make you
Take the
take
leap.
the leap? Not only because it's us and when we're family now, but like to take the leap to becoming a design director, well established, award winner, in a fantastic, which we love. It's a close friend of the house, a fantastic agency as well here in Dubai. And then you say like, what makes you like take the tick like that?
I mean, honestly, it felt like it's about time. I've always wanted to work on my own, to be on my own, and it was about time. It was stress at work. Why do I have to get all that stress when I can have that stress and build my own baby and grow it and put all the effort that I can in something that I built with my friends. So that was the I was like, why not? Let's give it a try. And if you fail, we can always find a different solution. But fast forward to now, alhamdulillah, all is going well.
I mean, we are. I don't want to say the number right here because I don't want to jinx it, but
Alhamdulillah,
it was the two of us, and you came. It was the three of us, and then all this happened. It's very hard work. How do you guys manage? And then before we start into how we do manage our team and the, sort of the theme of a conversation is, it's very interesting to me the dynamic that we have because even though I've learned a lot from you guys in terms of and I have an eye and taste for certain type of design, but we have a very very particular dynamic in which one of you is the art director, one of you is the design director, but you complement each other very well because in the broader space
fight.
of, I mean, that's the case, like.
And I think what
lines.
brought us together, I think what me and Dida makes us work together well, which is in university, to be honest, we had a project together and we're completely two different characters and like never again, like I can never work with her again. And
true.
Here, fast forward, here we are 12 years later. Because she's the opposite. I think she's very structured where I'm not. I'm like more flexible. I like working more at night. She wakes up super early. I cannot. I need like a couple of hours for my brain to start working in the morning.
And to be honest, that was
and it works very well because we cover all time zones.
24 hours,
exactly.
absolutely.
That's exactly what was happening. At some point, we were covering 24 hours working hours for some clients, and I finished my day, she starts her day, and clients were happy because the delivery was faster. And
I'll say the titles. I don't think we set the titles or decided one day what the titles will be.
It's just
to differentiate each other.
Exactly.
I'm more into the art scene. She's more into the branding scene. So just like, okay,
and not only
whatever.
that is what you guys control.
I don't want to put co-founder, CEO, whatever, member of the board. We're just designers.
Absolutely, and now this is what we want to discuss, and we've always been saying because we have a very particular philosophy. We have a very particular management philosophy and how we do the business and how we do like it's very nice that we can put now this out there in terms of something. If something wants to start a creative business, something just want to make it on the creative business. How are we trying to shift sort of a little bit of the philosophy in what we do things? Like we don't have titles. Like when someone comes to me and is like, oh, who you you are, what do you do? It's like, I just put out fires. You know, I'm there for my team, and like, you want to talk about a breakup? I'm here. You want to talk about a creative strategy for a client? I'm here. Do you want to solve a problem with, I don't know, your software? I will Google it. And you know, like the same thing happens with you guys and the teams that you manage and the designers that you manage. They understand that the relationship is one of closeness rather than, you understand what I'm saying?
I think also the idea it's in the name, La Mesa, the table, and this is where everybody sits on the same
Absolutely.
level.
Absolutely.
And communicate, talk, eat, brainstorm. So that was the idea of the name, basically.
I do remember when we said, like, you know, I'm Colombian, for those that who know, and with the Lebanese, we're pretty much a women-led business and sort of Lebanese skewed. However, we do speak some Spanish. And then I remember we were saying, how are we going to be called? The name La Mesa came, but we really didn't understand sort of the philosophy of why we were called La Mesa at the time. It was pretty much a very organic thing. And then as time sort of progressed, we realized that our philosophy, our life philosophy, it's pretty much aligned with this of the name and the business, because La Mesa was designed to become a surface for ideas. It's like where you eat, where you create, where you negotiate, where you sort of fall in love, when you speak. La Mesa is the table in English for the non-bilingual people. El taule, how do you say in Arabic?
Taule.
Ah, man.
Yeah, you said it right.
And then it's very interesting what Rana was saying, is like how we need to complement each other, and sort of the creative, strategic decisions that we make in the business go in that direction very much. And I want to get started a little bit into multicultural creativity and leading multicultural teams, because you have a lot of experience before with sort of leading like single nationality. I don't want to go, but now we have people in 6 different countries that speak like 6 different languages. What's your take in that? Give me your perspective on creative leadership, focused on that sort of remote idea. What we do.
I think first is patience with communication. Like there's always a communication barrier or language barrier. So simplify the way you talk. Understand that the people are not gonna be on the same page as you, like, or understand you directly. Like if I speak into Dida and I have something in mind, she probably will get what I have in mind, because we come up from the same culture, same background, same everything. So if I'm talking to someone with different culture, you have to manage or choose the words, or the way you speak, or like try to guide them, because what works in this region doesn't work in their region. For example, we ask our designers, please make sure you use Middle Eastern images, like people localization. Like these guidelines, like simple guidelines, simple shapes. Please be mindful everybody of the cultures, religions, whatsoever. So you have to introduce this to a new member of the team, especially if the member does not live in this country or in the region, because we have people living here and we have people living in Lebanon, in Colombia, in Turkey, and everywhere, in Singapore. Yeah. So it's always like be very diplomatic, be mindful of what the person might say, like what their culture, what their background, because might not get you, or you might not get them. So that's the issue.
However, adding to that, the diversity is very good, and it's very enriching in terms of ideas, in terms of perspective, new perspectives, new views.
Yeah, absolutely.
New inspirations. What inspires me inspires a Colombian designer differently.
And also our young team has made us look into things from a different perspective. And this, I just 100%. Want to make a sort of a parenthesis here. We are a remote company, and we are talking about remote multicultural creativity because of that, because it's part of our philosophy, because we do believe that we have to get young creatives and young
100%.
female creatives. Because this is what I say. I want to see more female in positions of decision making in the creative industry that we don't really have, right? So yes, you do have a right to come here, whatever your background is, whenever you come from, however it's like, because we say, you know, as I always say, like, skill you learn, attitude you
They
don't.
don't.
And then that implied trust that we have, starting like what you're saying with kindness. Like, this is why we're trying to push sort of the kindness movement. Like, be kind.
Be
Kindness
kind,
is the highest form of intelligence, and it speaks on your work as well. When you're kind to your team, and you're kind to your client, and you're kind to your work, it will show. This is why I'm so proud. Maybe I'm just exaggerating a little bit. We touched as well the nice to have. There's downsides on the 24/7 sort of time zone stuff, but it's a nice to have so that we cover. Like when we talk to our team in Colombia, we can brief something in, and then the clients will know it will be next day or something, because at least first draft for iteration, because we have someone that covers there. But I don't know if it
Some
will be
challenges
difficult. There's challenges, but let's brought in a success story on that cross-cultural far time zone collaboration that you can think of. Again, like I want to hear your perspective. Like, I have a couple in mind, but we can talk about our friends at Google. You know, like if you remember when we were doing branding stuff for them, how fast the deliveries required.
I remember one time Rana was still pregnant with Lorenzo, and you guys went to the States to deliver, and basically we were in 2 different time zones. I'm sorry. And we had a delivery.
Sorry,
for,
CIA. Everything was legal.
So the idea was we had a delivery, and it had to be really quick for Google. We were working on a presentation deck that was like 300 slides.
Strategic stuff that they like to do.
And they had an event, and the event was in 5 days, and it needed to be done. I'm talking about 300 slides to be redesigned, rebranded completely. So I wake up, I start in Dubai, I sleep, Rana wakes up,
bye.
start in the
remember.
States, and go on. And we managed to deliver it even before the deadline. So it was
especially that not all events were happening, let's say, like here in Dubai, or some were in London, or like recently we had to work on an event in Munich. So it's also like not a big difference, but time different, but still, like, you have to stay alert, stay available, because you don't know what's gonna change, or like where you're gonna be needed or when. So you have to always
be there.
there.
There's something when I'm talking to the team, or when I'm talking to clients, I'm always interested in the human side of things, like you know, like what makes you tick. I want to think what makes you, like, what triggers you, what makes you happy. I want to do that for you guys, because I know you. I've known you for years. I know what you like. I know pretty much, you know, tastes, and I know what she likes, what she doesn't like, what's the inspiration, what not. But I want us to talk about how your background shaped your cultural, your creative, your creativity. How's that cultural background shape your creativity? And just give me 2 very nice references to that. Like, again, you're Lebanese, so there's a lot of our audience that will.
Oh my God, I can't think of anything right now, but
let's not get emotional. I think being like brought up in Lebanon, it's such a small country, but you have a lot of exposure to things, from landscapes to activities to people, to also even different backgrounds. You can be from the same country, but you don't have the same always background. Also, I think Lebanon has been a leader in design, architecture, art, such a big history. it's a lot of heritage that we carry, and I think it's just an opportunity to look and observe and just like take in all this information that is around us. Whether it's like, there were always design events that we'd go to, art events, advertising events. So I mean, I know that now the situation is not
It's not ideal.
it's not the Lebanon that we knew or we would like to be, but I'm pretty sure things will go back to the same. It just, you see like Dubai taking over a little bit, but still like you have Lebanese heads, creative, that want to offer more and more and have a lot of gifts.
It's a little bit like Italy. You remember we were there, it's like you take a train 60 kilometers and there's like a different country. Same thing happens to Lebanon. You go up the mountain or the food or the accent, or it's amazing, and it's how such a little piece of land, like in perspective with the rest, it's like so many things there. Like,
so, like you can change scenery in like half an hour.
No, but
you
the
can
artists,
go out of the city and
like,
change.
I know. For me, Lebanon, it's obviously culture, arts, history, and everything. But for me, the main inspiration in the streets. When you walk on the streets and you look on all these old windows, old buildings, it's such a beautiful and inspiring place. I love that.
For me, it was the traveling. I'm not a creative artist or creative, like executioner of stuff, but I do, like traveling and open-minded stuff. And then, like I always tell you, there's something I want to teach my kids is like literally the world is around the corner, and you just have to, be kind and talk to people, and read. And how would you know you don't like it if you don't taste it or you don't try it? So it's the same thing. It's the same thing. I found a little bit of resistance when I went to Lebanon because I didn't understand the culture. And then when I introduced it, I've heard comments like, "You're more Lebanese than this guy," right? And I look and I could,
look Lebanese.
like, so it's a blessing to fit in and
Funny story. Every time we have a client meeting, the client starts talking in Arabic, and I'm like, sorry, but Oscar is not Lebanese or Arabic. Oh, really?
Sorry, I thought. I was like, okay. Very fun. Now let's get into technical stuff, because I want people that's hearing us and then they just sort of understood our background a bit and know who we are and know how we think. Now let's talk about how we operate, because that's super important as well. A part of La Mesa is that we have a very well-oiled machine in terms of communication and how we deliver and how we keep engaged the team. So that's exactly what I want to ask. Let's put our thoughts on La Mesa on the table, on what are the technical capabilities and technical tools that you need for succeeding in a multicultural remote environment. Slack, you said once.
I'm sure
very
there's a lot,
communication.
plenty, but what we're using, what's working for us is Slack. We use Google Workspace for
Nudge me on WhatsApp if I don't answer Slack.
But yeah, she doesn't answer Slack, so most of the time WhatsApp with Rana. And for me, I like video calls. I like to talk to the team on video. I like to see their faces, talk to them, and be closer to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that we asked, right? And it's something as a comment, like it's digital etiquette. If you're talking to someone,
Open your camera.
It's pretty common in the region. Female cases in some situations, of course, are to be excused because of beliefs and
yes,
customs, of course, and that's to be respected. However, it's very nice, like you're saying, to touch, to see in people's eyes and talk to people, because it's like.
Sometimes it's easier like pick up the phone and explain what
also
you need
that,
than just
absolutely.
let me text you or write an email of what I need. It's just gonna take forever.
Yeah.
Write me, Nina, like Oscar.
So,
it's easier to talk.
I have a in our team. There's someone that's just fantastic. She loves voice notes. She sends me voice notes all the time. So I call her Doscast. Her last name is Dosma. I call her Doscast, but she prefers it, right? So again, it's just how you adjust to each style. because people is
Yes, of
comfortable.
course.
So it's very important to find collaboration tools. It's very important to have. Now there's a lot of technology that allows you that collaboration space in real time. We've been a remote company since the beginning, not because of COVID made it a thing. Now that everything went back to normal, we're still and we will be remote until I don't know.
Further
but
notice.
yeah, but we've learned to use this. How do you avoid in that miscommunications? Like you call straight up.
Yes.
Like you call straight up. Rana has a different. I am like like it's Sheldon Cooper. If I can avoid the human contact.
I really believe in talking to the person either face to face or face to face. Obviously, if you're a remote company, you're doing face to face video call, or you actually pick up the phone and talk to the person, because when you're giving feedback, when you're giving ideas, you need to. I mean,
you need to see the face that that they're getting you, like they're like, are you understanding what I'm saying, or like, do you want us to discuss it more, or let me show you something right now on the screen, so then I'm gonna wait till I send you an email so you can see the email and reply. This is if the both or different parties are available at the same time, so it's like easy. Like let's jump on a call. Okay, let's
faster, easier.
Let's do it. Because as you said, it's gonna get lost and take more time also trying to explain and talk and communicate by messaging.
Yeah, collaboration, availability, accessibility.
I mean, I think also the smaller the company is, the more like branched out you have to be. So you have to be the communicator, the organizer, the client manager, the designer, the art director, account. So you have to make sure everything, although like we each have their responsibilities, but you have to make sure that you're on top of things. And this is also the 24-hour job, because it's your thing. You cannot let go at
it's your baby. And that's a very important case in sort of entrepreneurship. You do have to go the extra mile, and founders usually go the extra mile. In creative entrepreneurship, it's not the extra mile, it's the extra 10 miles.
Exactly.
Because you're working with artists, you're working with creatives, you need to be communicator, you need to be psychotherapist, you need to be accountant, you need to be strategist, salesman, business developer, you need to be friend, you need to be dad, you need to be a bunch of things that can get challenging, but this is why having a diverse team and understanding that implied trust comes first is I think for us has worked very, very well. Now, this comment gives me a perfect segue to start talking about engagement, team engagement and motivation in remote works, because it's very interesting what I try to do and what we try to do all the time. This is specific into but
I think
talk
flexibility would be
flexibility, but like in terms of engagement, let's talk a little bit about how do we engage, or how to engage remote creative teams when you are not present in the same city, in the same time zone even. Because remember we had a designer that was 3 hours behind us, and then we had a stand-up that was very early. He had to get up at 7 a.m. in the morning. You just don't want to engage in any chit-chat or dad jokes or whatever it is. And yet he shows up, regardless. So that's beautiful about that. But the sort of what you create, like as creative leader, that's what you leave behind, right? That sort of aura that you leave behind, that the style remains. Like that slide doesn't go out, out like this, not because I say so, but because everyone now understand that the standards that we have are like this. So let's talk about a little bit on that motivation for remote workers, motivation for artists and sleepy artists.
Sleepy artists. I would say again, I would repeat myself, flexibility.
Yeah.
Because when you're flexible, like you don't have a 9 to 6 hour job. You can work whenever you want. I'm gonna give you an example. You can go smoke a shisha on the beach and finish. But as long as you deliver, so that's I think this helps a lot in motivating the designer and the team.
Yeah, I think the team members who've been with us for a while know by now how to organize their time. So some people, like the morning they go to their gym, or afternoon they have something, or they have extra classes that they're taking or something. But everybody knows, as long as the work is done, as long as delivered on time, as long as if you're available like on a short notice, not like now, then we're good. Sometimes if things like we can't deliver, like, or if someone is not available, we have to take it in our own hands. Like if it's a design thing, it's fine, we'll do it, we'll fix it. And like or something that like you have to communicate or talk to the client or something that like you'll take the initiative. We have flexibility in terms of how we work, or then with whom we work. Is like, if you cannot do it, I'll do it, you know. If
I would help you. Leveraging each
like
other's.
it's not like it's your account, it's your client. We handle different clientele, but it's fine. Like if something happened, I'll cover for you. It's like going on a holiday and you leave me in copy, for example.
And that takes me to a very important point as well, in flexibilities and in trust. And that's something that's crucial in remote work, multicultural environments, in creative entrepreneurship, is life-work balance doesn't exist, because work is a part of life. Life happens. It's not that you become 3 extra people. No. But let's talk about a little bit quick on how because this is something very interesting that we've always had to learn in terms of balancing out flexibility, freedom, and delivery. Because yes, it's like if you don't deliver something will happen, right? But you're free. I always say we're running a design studio. We're not running a nursery, and I'm working with adults, with functional adults. So it's very important to communicate that, and from our perspective, that even though we're flexible and we are open, the delivery learning curve in terms of that flexibility and that balance need to be quick compared to other companies or compared to other corporate setups, specifically because you're free. And whenever you're free, if you don't know how to manage that freedom, everything can just fall apart, right? So we have to be, and this is something very interesting we do, and this is a very important advice.
Let's talk about commitment. Like the first thing when we are like want to recruit someone, or like we need you to be committed to
accountable,
this, or whether a project, long-term project, full-time job, we need you to be there. Like not there as in on the spot, but I need you to put all like your passion into this project.
This is yours. This is your project, and you're accountable for it. If something happens, it's not your fault, but it's your responsibility. Accountability is something super important for multicultural remote work and teams and team building and engagement. Is that you are accountable for someone else. That someone else is accountable for you. As I'm accountable for a 20 people team, you know, each other. And we know that whenever you're, like you were saying, Rana, whenever it's noticeable because we're a small family and it's a family business. We're married, we're partners. You know, we became family. So it is a family business, and it became a family. You know, we know when, for example, I remember we had a wonderful team member that was running to like she was finishing her university bachelor while working with La Mesa, and she needed to take time off, and she took the help of the team in her thesis and her presentation, and she came to me for mentoring, and she, like, you can do everything if you're organized, right? So that's something that's pretty cool, and I think that's the most important bit of multicultural collaboration, is that it's not that it's a culture. It's like we're humans. We're in the human experience. We're in the same thing. We're doing the same thing. We're learning. We're raising child. We're helping our family. You know, we're
it doesn't mean that everything goes smoothly or perfectly. Of course, we have our clashes.
Of course.
Like the work, the team, like there's always something, or the stress. It's like we have sometimes, let's take a step back, breathe. Nothing will collapse. Like
no, we're not.
What's the worst that could happen? Just like rats. There's always someone. I think I I sometimes play
Stay
the
consistent.
The mediator,
The
yeah, stay
mediator.
consistent. Yeah, we're not trying to save the world. We're trying to change the world through branding and knowledge, but we're not curing cancer, guys. Right? I mean, we're not trying to, I don't know, take a man to Mars. Like we are trying to change the way creative companies work. We are trying to change the way creative teams are put together. And the mindset of our team as well has changed. So I'm pretty
Also that a
proud.
small company can do what a big company does. That's what we're trying to.
That's why our clients call us
demonstrate.
tiny but mighty.
Tiny, mighty.
Tiny.
And I love that analogy of a very dear friend from this consultancy client that we have. When she was introducing us to the client, to a partner in the company, she was like, "These guys are tiny but mighty." It's like, you guys can do what you guys have done with a team of 4. Also because we have a wonderful strategist and we have wonderful designers and it's just like what you've done with a team of 4, I haven't seen companies done with a team of 15. That for me was a super proud
Because
moment.
each one works like 10.
Yeah,
That's
we
basically
work
it.
super hard.
But not just passion, with passion. You work with passion. You put all the effort because you enjoy what you're doing. You enjoy.
Because we love what
I personally enjoy what I'm
You love
doing.
what we do.
I love.
But it took
Create.
you 20 years to reach that to that
Of course,
sort
experience.
of reconciliation.
Self-acceptance.
Yeah, self-awareness of, yes, I can do this branding exercise in 2 days because it took me 20 years to learn. Yes, I can do a strategy in
But still,
4
sometimes
days.
it takes 2 weeks and you're stuck.
Yes, but
But,
I
yeah.
mean, again, it's just the human experience. We're not trying to sort of invent light speed traveling. Listen, I'm super happy and I'm very proud and could be more honored to have you as the openers of this beautiful project that we have.
Thank you for having us.
Because we're gonna have amazing
Muchas gracias.
people. Muy bien, muchas gracias. Because we're gonna have amazing
Hablamos en
people.
español.
We're going to have guests, like first line guests, people that we love, people that we care about, people that we admire, like our mentors and our partners and our clients. We're gonna be here. We're gonna talk about fantastic stuff. And I feel that even though we've been talking for years, we could talk here for hours. But I'm gonna close now with what we're gonna do normally with our guest, which is going to be a rapid fire, which is pretty questions, like fast questions. You don't have to think about it, right?
These are usually tricky questions.
Yeah, kind of. So the quick fire question. We're going to start with Farida replies and then Rana replies, right? Morning must-haves.
Coffee.
Coffee. Yeah, or just like a half an hour of
Silence.
silence and nobody talk to me.
In a house full of toddlers, Go-to inspiration spot. Where do you go to get inspired?
Beach.
Yeah. Mountain. You ski.
I love skiing, but where? Here?
Well, Mall of Emirates.
If I want to get an inspiration, it
True.
will not happen.
Go-to inspiration.
Pinterest.
Okay,
I
fair
don't
enough.
go out much though.
Fair enough. Dream project location.
Island.
Island.
Yeah.
Your dream project. Where is it located? That quick
Um,
fire.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe somewhere in the beach, somewhere in
Mediterranean.
Colombia.
We're from the Mediterranean. I say we because I'm half Lebanese now. Life-changing book, podcast, or mentor?
Cartagena. That's a
Yeah.
delayed
Yeah,
question.
Cartagena. Nice.
Beautiful. I love that
Yeah,
city.
it's really nice.
Life-changing book, podcast, or mentor? You can say me.
Hashtag Colombia. What was the tourism
I've
account?
been, in the beginning of the year, I was watching a lot Mel Robbins.
She's great.
She's
Transformational
really
coach.
good. Transformational coach.
Yeah, great.
I don't know. I think yeah. I think 'cause sometimes I get really anxious, so I like talking about watching or listening to podcast or
Which
just
one?
mentorship. I can't remember the names. What's the name? Eckhart? I forgot his name.
Yes. We will link all of those.
Yeah.
Tony?
No,
Tony Robbins,
Tony Robbins.
but I know who you're talking about.
I know. I just
This is
slipped
pretty
my
cool, and
mind.
with this we're going to close. Advice for your younger self.
Stay young. Breathe. Stay young. in work and in
Advice.
which aspect?
Advice in life. What would you tell Dida, 19 years old?
It will be okay.
You'll always be okay. Nice.
It will always be okay.
Yeah, at the end, yeah. Advice for your own, have fun.
You did well.
You're doing great, which is true. You're doing great. You're a great mom.
Mama, Ika Bell.
It's been a pleasure. With this, we're going to wrap up. We would love for you to just stay with us. You're going to have a cadence of very interesting themes. We're going to have a cadence of very interesting guests. We are going to open a space where La Mesa, where the table is always open to these stories, real stories. Coffee will be always brewing. And the vibe will be like this, like it's a family thing, right? So
Next topic, coffee.
yes. When creativity, I have something, a small quote that I wrote that I want to bring, and I want to bring into the podcast. Creativity shapes the world one idea at a time. Keep dreaming big and making it happen, and see you at the next table. Thank you.